Good morning, traders. Good morning. Welcome back to another live stream here. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures, where I'm trading live here almost every day, 9:30 a.m., 100% free on YouTube. Before we jump into it, make sure you read what is on the screen. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all or more of the money that you trade with. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say here or anywhere else is financial advice or a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. For entertainment purposes only, I'm just an idiot yapping on YouTube. Also, make sure you read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from the links in my content. Let's jump into it, y'all. Markets open. We had CPI this morning. We are up and running. Go ahead and adjust my anchored VWAP to NYSE open on the 1-minute chart. Just want to take a look at how this is opening up right off the rip. Interesting level of liquidity up here. Before I drop out to the daily and take a look at this with you guys. This looks like we want to go and sweep this high. Pretty standard drop back after not continuing to the upside on this 8:30 a.m. candle. A lot of guys like to trade this. They call it the afterglow, aftershock. Can be an interesting but very volatile event to trade. I'm not a super duper fan of doing that unless I'm trying to really aggressively pass a prop firm account, something like that. But let's look at this from the daily. I'm not going to get a trade in here really quickly. I do have a big stack of orders up here on Bookmap. Looks like 794 on the book, up at 5680, right around 5680. Outside of that, down below we've got some levels. About 100, 130 are the high end of those. And then up at 5,700 we have another like 130 below and 167 lots. But that orange line I have marked on my screen is right at that 5680 above that news wick, where we have quite a large stack of orders. So that's interesting. Might want to go and fill that. But let's jump out to the daily. Like I always like to start these sessions, just getting a feel, getting a top-down analysis rolling. You know, I don't think I really have to create a strong bias to trade the 1-minute chart on U.S. indices. I'm gonna flow with the market, pay attention to VWAP, pay attention to key levels, you know, basic market structure, price action on that low time frame. But I like to have an understanding of what the heck we're doing on the high time frame. So looking at the daily, we've been selling off. Big surprise, right? Same stuff as that I've been saying day over day, week over week here. Been selling off really aggressively. We do have a pretty big bullish candle getting put in right here so far, right? Low of this candle is right here. I'll get rid of this line for now just so you can see it. We are opening up now to the upside. We already cracked prior day's high. We haven't had a candle trade above prior day high until back here on the 3rd. And then before that, we had one on February 26th. So, we've been really, really weak where these daily candles have not even come up and swept prior day's high. So we have another one printing right here. Does it turn into an indecisive type of candle? Do we just pull right back down and, close bearish, get down below this candle? Who's to say? We're going to find out here together live, or at least some of this live. But for right now, we are opening up with a nice, decent-sized bullish candle on the daily. Albeit we are very low in this area of consolidation, if not this sell-off. This was first line in the sand for me, right around the 5800s. We are all the way down now, trading 56, 40s, 37s right now as I'm speaking. This is an interesting level that we put some. We found some buyers, at least for right here, right now. Found some buyers right here, into the 55 30s here on ES. This is the MES contract on the Project X Topstep X platform. Interested to see where we go today. I don't have a massively strong bias. Like yesterday, I was saying, when I came in to that trading session, I wasn't really sold that we were just going to sell off, and we didn't. I was looking long initially, but ended up taking 2 shorts for some nice wins. But we could see how that session turned out, right? Sure, we did sell off quite a bit, pull back, sold off again, but we came all the way back up, to sweep above session highs. So not this massive down day, right? Not this massively weak day. Kind of choppy back and forth into the afternoon, where we really found some buyers and then pulled price all the way back up. If I look at this overnight session, pretty flat, pretty choppy, right around VWAP, right? Looking at this all the way through London Open. We found some strength, got above VWAP, pulled current session VWAP above prior day VWAP. This is current session VWAP. This is prior day session anchored VWAP. This is an anchored VWAP to 9:30 a.m. And this little blue one here is a 9:30 a.m. today anchored VWAP. But this is opening up somewhat bullish, right? We're above VWAP. Obviously, CPI was a bullish pop, and then pretty much just erased the move completely all the way down here. But we're holding above VWAP. It doesn't look like sellers wants to step back in just yet. And again, like I said yesterday, I'm cautious of the selling just blatantly continuing like a straight knife to the downside day over day without some kind of a correction, without some kind of pull back up to take everybody out that's getting short, to go reload, grab some liquidity to the upside. It typically happens even within a strong downtrend like we've seen day over day. So, I'm cautious after we have really big weak days like we had earlier this week and last week to say that we just continue ripping to the downside. Now, it can certainly happen. I don't know why the zone came back on my chart. I wasn't there earlier. It can certainly happen, but I'm looking for potential of some kind of a correction, some kind of a pullback. I'm just checking my levels here because that was odd. I don't know why that came back on my chart. That was something that I adjusted this morning. Prior day low looks good. Prior day high, overnight low, overnight high. Yeah, these levels look good. Every once in a while, if I refresh a page before I save or something, trading view charts, Topstep X charts can do something funky. But we're going to be watching MES here on the 1 minute time frame. I've got 3 accounts daisy chained together, copy trading. Like I said, still testing with Tradeify and TradeSync, copy trading 5 of those accounts. It's pretty fun to do. You can turn a very, very quick profit just making a couple $100, similar to these. So I'll be bringing that to you guys live soon. But for now, I'm sticking with what I got going on. Got 3 accounts chained together right here. And we're gonna watch this. Kind of consolidating here, right? Kind of choppy back and forth after this CPI candle. Pop to the upside, erase the move, and now we've kind of just drifted back and forth for the last hour. Let's see if we do start to push this to the upside. I would have liked to see a retest of VWAP before we do that. Like what I would say I'm comfortable getting involved with really quick on is if, let's say, we came down, just kind of cracked VWAP for a second, found buyers, and then form structure to the upside, I'd be looking long towards the top of this news candle, towards this level of liquidity. I think this is a pretty clean area to trade towards. If we blast off right from here, I'm tempted to look long on it, but it's just not as clear, right? I still think we can come back down, challenge overnight low, you know, back down into this area of high volume down here. You know, we may want to come and see this again if we're going to push higher, or if we're just going to continue selling pressure to the downside. You know, you can see it on the volume profile when I zoom out. So initially, I'm looking long on this kind of aggressively. Again, Bookmap helping me out there, having a big level up here, but I don't know that I want to take that. I don't know. Gun to my head, I'm long towards overnight high, but I think a retest of this VWAP level, or potentially, you know, even lower, way down here, could be in store. So not that much direction just yet. We're gonna wait for our 15-minute opening range to set. Not ready for it yet, but we'll get these markings ready. See if we can't keep the green days coming in. We'll see. We'll see what we can do today. But appreciate you guys hopping on. Good morning. Good morning. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Thanks for hopping on. Smash the like button if you're here with me. Good to see the familiar faces, familiar names. Awesome to see you guys on here. Appreciate you. Good morning. What's up, Troy? Ryan says CPI days are V-shaped days between 8:30 and 12. Yeah, I would say often, right? We want to be cautious by just stating like this happens, you know, every time, right? But maybe we see that like slightly more often than not, where we get a V-shaped day between the news print and 12, where we just kind of get this big back and forth movement. I think it could certainly happen. I think what happens right after a news candle like this is always interesting, right? We typically either get one of two things. We blast off and we see follow through, and then maybe towards NYSE open we pull back and continue, or we just erase the move, or we kind of do what we did here, where we just pop and then immediately erase the move and kind of just chop around where we started out, right? Like we're right back down, you know, near the open of this 8:30 candle, you know, just a few points above. So, you know, interesting to see. This is kind of choppy, kind of directionless. We opened up here. We didn't see like massive buyers step in and say, oh, you know what? This was just some, you know, cooling off before we really take this thing higher. Market loves this news. We're going to blast off. You know, we didn't get that yet. Kind of a muted open so far. You know, this isn't terribly quiet. You know, it's not the smallest range, but it's not massively volatile where we just, you know, started printing really large candle to the upside or downside. So probably going to get the 15-minute opening range here before I look for a trade. Again, I could see a crack back up towards these levels. Overnight high, and here's what I'm looking at on Bookmap. That is a large stack of orders. Now, whether or not that stays on the book is out for debate. But when we have a large level like that, and I am potentially looking to trade in that direction anyway, it's used as a potential target for me, right? Something that we may want to go up and fill. Relative to everything else on the book, we have quite a few orders that may want to get filled up there. Yeah, it's a big stack, man. Well, we're fixing to find out, as they say in the South. Selling off so far, coming back down towards VWAP. Again, I'm going to give this a little bit of time. I'm going to wait for some structure. I don't know that we see a ton of direction today. I just don't. Just based on this structure, you know, like why would I say that? It's subjective, it's discretionary, but just based on this structure, how I would quantify this. Choppy day yesterday, although, you know, putting a low in that was below the prior day's low, pulling back up, back down to this area of high volume here, you know, to really just chop around and have a slow moving overnight session with a drift into London, crack at the open, and then like right back down to the area of high volume. We're kind of just getting a little bit of this back and forth balancing type movement. You know, we could see some correction today, and this could turn into a larger bullish daily candle. Here we are coming back down through VWAP right here. Again, I'm not looking for anything right off the rip. I'm interested to see if we find a lot of buyers down here and we come back up through these highs of the session. That would, you know, that would potentially set me up for a long play. I could see that coming out of, you know, this low from yesterday where we want to just continue this move to the upside. Conversely, we could turn this into just another gnarly day to the downside. And if I was going to play off of higher time frame structure, that's the move, right? We're selling off day over day. You know, this is a market where shorts have been paying. Why would we hit the buy button? You know, there's the theory there. So I'm like, all right, how do we get you there? Sorry, guys. That's probably gonna give me a copyright strike. Let me get out of this garbage. Yeah. So selling pressure for sure. Higher time frame coming all the way down to the lower time frames. It's been weak overall. That could follow through today. They could absolutely follow through today. So let's kind of see what we get here. Again, not going to be too anxious. Not going to jump right into anything. Again, first setup is long. Looking back above this 15-minute opening range, we're firing buyers right off this VWAP. I know I just said I wasn't going to jump right into anything, but I'm tempted to look long on this. Let's take a look. I'm getting long on this, guys. I know I just said I wasn't going to jump right into anything, but I got my 15-minute opening range. I'm happy with that. I'm going to get long on this. Stop loss below this 15-minute opening range low by a few points. I'm going to try to come down. Like 5 points below this 15-minute opening range low. I'm looking for this to find buyers right here at VWAP, which we started to do. Found strength. We were just pulling back up on this 1-minute candle, so I did like that as the entry. To come back to this area of high volume and then crack to the upside. Could absolutely get stop ran on this. We could just continue lower. We could be pulling way back down to this area down here. We could be continuing the selling pressure of the day, and this is just going to be a down day, and I'm too early on this one. But I like this trade. I like this to the upside. It's aggressive off of VWAP. Not a super duper wide stop loss. Decent amount of risk, $225 right off the bat. But I don't know that I'll have another opportunity up here, right? Like I talk about, you know, kind of looking at risk structure. If we came all the way back up here, I don't have a clean way to structure risk. I don't have a way to say I want to get long as we break this high with a stop loss down here. It just will not present an opportunity. So I'm hopping in long here off of VWAP, looking for this to potentially hold. If we have to sweep a whole lot lower, you know, I'm out. I'm giving a little bit of room to crack this 15-minute opening range low. 5-point stop down below that level. But I need to see some buyers found here to continue back up. Look to come back up to this 15-minute opening range high. At least this area of high volume for me to grab a winner out of this one. Again, we start to sell off. I think I'm dead wrong on this. And we are going to come through VWAP really aggressively and maybe continue way lower into this area down here. But trade on long from 56.23 and 3/4. Stop at 56.08 and 3/4. Aggressive selling pressure. This looks like the quick stop, guys. Cracking 15-minute opening range low. Not finding buyers after we got this nice pop back up to the upside off of VWAP. And it's going to be a quick one. Quick stop out. $230 to the downside. That's the name of the game, man. I had nice quick winners yesterday. That's a quick stop out. Let's see what we get from here. No buyers found right off of this low. We might find buyers after pulling back down here. That would be a little bit frustrating to see if my stop just gets ticked out by 1.5 points. But yeah, I like this one long. It's a trade that I'm going to take. A little bit counter to this initial session trend, but following the alignment of VWAP, following buyers coming right off of VWAP here, after putting this 15-minute opening range low in, anticipating a move back up towards this high, back up towards this this area of high volume. This area of liquidity up here. This area of high volume. So we'll see what we get from down here. We start to sell off really aggressively, continue through VWAP. I'm going to look short. I'm going to look short on it. We find buyers and pull all the way back up. That's just my trade getting ticked out before continuing. A little bit frustrating, but I don't know that I would be able to find another way back in until we came all the way up and found some more structure. But let's see. Let's see what we get. Let's see if I had direction right and I was just a little bit aggressive with my entry and a little bit tight with my stop. Couldn't go much more than that with 3 micros. Could have ran a 2 micro and really came wide. This is what I was trying to allow for. 6 3/4 below 15-minute opening range low. Let's see. Let's see what we get from here. Let's see where we go from here. That was data accumulated on US 30. Any strong bullish today on US 30? Drop? Sure. Why am I the only one who thinks shorts are at play? Yeah, shorts at play, right? Shorts would have paid on that one right there. Thank you, Ryan. You're a short suited too. Still in the first half of a V market. Sure. Listen, guys, if you have a good way of reading the market, something you find confidence in, I encourage you to continue to do that, right? Stick to your guns, stick to what makes sense for you, whatever gives you confidence to put trades on. That's all you need to do. My goal is not to predict the larger movement of the day. I speculate, right? I talk about what I'm looking at, but it's to find a good way to structure risk, and grab a small chunk of that move. So far, down on the day, right? Down on the session. Coming through VWAP, we've broken now. We're retesting and finding sellers again. We come back through this low. I do think we are going to continue lower after retesting this area here. And maybe starting to sell off again. Next area that I would look at before overnight low would be way down here. I'm still interested to see if we pull up from here. I think if we come through this low, the 5590s would be the next area that I would be looking. Down at this area of consolidation, pretty simple where VWAP and temporary volume point of control is right now and was from overnight. But let's see what we get here. Let's see what we get here. That's aggressive right here. Aggressive buying pressure. 952. No news. No news that I see. No news that I see. We got some volatility for sure. Wow, quick wick to the upside and then immediately coming back down. Let's see what we get from here. But starting the session off with an L. Part of the game, decent amount of risk on that one, right? 225. Sometimes you'll see me putting on, 100, 150. That one looked like a solid one. Aggressive off of VWAP, finding some support down there, looking for that continuation of the news movement, the overnight session, back towards an area of liquidity. I think on another day that one pays beautifully, just not today, right? And that's part of trading, and why I do what I do live. You guys are going to see the wins, losses, everything in between. I haven't had the beautiful big green days that I would like to have on here with you guys, although we've taken some nice small wins. Would like to put up the nice green, larger green days with you guys on here. But we'll do what we can. We'll do what we can. Yeah, that's something. That's something, right? That's quite a bit of volatility. A lot of volume to see traded in one 1 minute candle. Wicking back and forth. Holding somewhat right here below VWAP, but we got a decision to be made here. We're either going to crack this low and head lower, like I'm looking down towards the 5590s, you know, that secondary area to the downside, still above overnight session low, or we find some buyers here and we take this thing back up. But so far this looks weak. Sellers look like they want to take this thing lower. Selling off, coming to the downside. Yeah, again, next area that I could see us stopping would be down here at the 5590s. It is a short play today for sure. Breaking retesting, that would have been tricky if we were taking a short on the way back down before that candle printed. That would have been pretty difficult to be holding through. But so far, just continuing to the downside. This looks like we're going to want to run towards this at least 5600 level. Yeah, here we go. Trading right down towards that. Let's see where we go from here. Let's see where we go from here. Aggressively down towards the 5599s, 5600. Maybe we find some buyers. Again, I'm looking just down into this area of consolidation down here, down towards prior day session VWAP. But we are selling off. We are not looking to continue this move to the upside. This is looking very weak following higher time frame structure. You know, we are now not just breaking out to the downside below a prior day low. We are, you know, returning to this area from the overnight session. Interested to see what happens here, whether or not we find some buyers, or if we start to come through this level here. That's what I'm interested to look at. But weakness overall in the session. I'm not sold on direction just yet. I'm really not sold on a short from this. Don't have a setup just yet to the downside or upside. Gonna wait to see if we get some structure, maybe a pullback towards 15-minute opening range low, back up towards VWAP, and then a continuation lower would potentially look short on that. An aggressive pullback up from one of these areas and some structure to the upside, I would still look long. So I'm pretty neutral on this so far. Pretty neutral on this. Yeah, liquidity down at 5590 for sure. That stuff way up above where I have that that line marked up at the 5680s is still there. That is interesting to see. Let's see what we get from down here, boys and girls. Let's check it out. Strategy based on historical data. Don't think of direction. Place my trade. Very strict rules. Awesome, man. Awesome. Feels good when someone says the same thing. You're thinking. Approach me different ideas the same. Yup. 10 months historical data on NQ with the strategy I trade. Very nice. Very nice. Would actually pick your mind sometime. Awesome. Good conversation from you guys. Lone Wolf not in a trade. My idea is short. Trusted me. Yeah. Again, I don't take anybody else's trades. That's funny though. 4 to 5 years experience. Best I can recommend is backtest on TradeView. Entering candle closes. Yeah. Not bad input from you guys, for sure. Test your stuff with no risk on the line, right? Get as much screen time as you can. Get some confidence in the way that you're going to trade. Understand how you're going to manage risk. All of that stuff. So pulling back up towards this 15-minute opening range low. Seller is continuing to take this thing lower. I think we're going to see the 590, 5590s, 590s. But we got some buyers stepping in, but really just kind of maintaining this downtrend structure. Pretty clean so far. No buyers found here. Initially on this crack lower, which I was looking at as a push higher, but this has just turned into really nice downtrend structure so far. Sells of the play on this low time frame for me. I don't like having a stop loss at this area. If we don't get a retest of this level up here and then some selling pressure, I'm not going to look short on this just yet. When we come back up here, I'd like to see what happens for a potential short, but I'm going to sit patient on this for a moment. Sitting patient. Started out with the L, got aggressive, part of the game. Now let's see what we get for our second one. But appreciate you guys hopping on with me. If you're here, smash the like button. Subscribe if you want to be able to chat for next time. I keep subscriber mode on. And yeah, man, hop in the 100% free Discord if you're not already. I run a free Discord, and I'm here trading live with you guys free every day, showing you how and what I do. Retest near that 15-minute opening range low. Every candle push to the upside is really finding some weakness, finding some sellers. I'm not sold on a short yet, but I could see it setting up if we're just following simple price action and market structure on this chart to the downside. We've got nice breaks, lower lows getting put in. This was a sweep way up here, but continuation. This looks like what we may see back down to, you know, these 90s where we have some liquidity sitting on Bookmap. So I could see this happening. Up at 95, we've got some a little bit of overlap from this algorithmic crap, but I don't like this one, at least right here, right now. It's similar to yesterday, very similar setup to yesterday. Where two of them paid. I just don't like this with a stop loss right up here near VWAP. I think a quick wick back up to this area could be in store, but we're not going to see that just yet, man. We're just going to continue pushing lower. There we go. There's the crack lower right into the low 90s. Yep, YM selling off aggressively. Just looking around the markets. We are into this area that I was looking at if we started to come to the downside, right into this area of high volume, right? Made it down to that level. Do we find some buyers here? Do we start to pull back up, or are we just going to aggressively start to come through this? We're seeing some volatility right here, right now. This looks like we do want to push lower. Cool. There we go. Finding some buyers. Yeah, 10:03. No news, man. Just these markets where we get these really quick movements, right? Get a big wick like that. You get an immediate flip like that. A lot of volume on that candle right there. We came right down into the 92s. Did not want to move lower. Yeah, this is aggressive, man. This is why I'm looking to take quick profits. Usually going to be a quick take profit or a quick stop out. That's what I'm seeing in these markets. Still have liquidity down at the 90s, but getting wiggly right here, man. So we might find some volatility. We're finding some volatility for sure. Might find some buyers. I'll be right back, guys. Right back with you. Back in action with you guys. Sorry for the interruptions. I don't like to be jumping off my desk, but got to do what I got to do. So we found buyers here. Found some buyers here right out of this area of consolidation. Now, do we get a pullback up, or are we going to find sellers right here off of VWAP again? You know, if I'm going to flow with market structure and price action for the session, headed down lower to continue this trend for the session, could be in store. Nothing wrong with a sell from up here. Nothing wrong with a sell from up here, but that's some volume right here to be picking up momentum to the upside. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm not gonna look short on this just yet. I think that initial thesis may be in store, and I'm carrying a long bias for better or for worse today. This looks like we want to move to the upside. we're at least back here at VWAP. Again, downtrend structure for the session, right back up to the middle ground here, testing overnight low. I don't really have a clean trade to the upside. I would really need to see some structure form and then continue. Like if we pulled back down, failed to go lower, and then continued higher, I'd consider a long again. I'm going to miss a short opportunity. Not really miss a trade for me, but an opportunity if we're going to find sellers right off this VWAP, and this is indeed just going to be a retest. But I don't have good conviction in this to the downside right now. I just don't. We do have liquidity down here at the 90s, so if we continue, I think we can continue pretty aggressively lower. The only trade I have here short is short, but I don't like it. Just don't like it. It's not for me. But there's nothing wrong with this. You can go stop loss, really wide, where you say, we don't find sellers here, we continue to push higher, give the trade some room to breathe. I'm wrong, and we continue way up. But I'm looking at this, finding some buyers and coming back through VWAP after we put this in. I just don't have a really clean way to structure risk on this. I think a pullback to like the 605s could be in store. I would look to take this if we pulled back down and then continued back up through VWAP. But if we just blast off from here, which we might, I'm not going to get it. But let's see. Let's see how this market read is going to play today. Yeah, can't take it long from up here. Would not run a stop loss right at this level. I think it's very reasonable that we come and retest this, even if we are going to crack VWAP and continue long. Not going to take it short, like I said. Just do not have conviction in the shorts on this today. Just don't. Although we may see it play out, I don't know that we continue all the way through this low down to the 990s. If we do start to blast lower, I want to see what happens down at 605. We find buyers right down here as we do come lower, and we crack right back up. I'm going to consider this long. If we come right through this level, that's my short, playing out, and just not going to have an opportunity to do anything with it. But let's see what we get here. Let's see what we get. Okay, down around this level that I was looking at. Do we continue through it really aggressively? Like really, really aggressively, and start to sell directly off? That would have been the short play from VWAP playing out. We find buyers anywhere down around these lows and continue back up. I'm going to look long on this thing for a correction back through the top of 15-minute opening range high. Again, just not having conviction in the shorts today. Watched it play out. Very similar setups to yesterday, but I'm not sold on it. Not sold on it based on this price action, right? If I have to be somewhat objective about it, just based on the price action that we've seen. Yeah, well, we got a lot stacking up at 600. 603, 700 on the book, down at 600, 5,600. That's going to be interesting if we just leave without touching that. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, if we didn't have a huge stack of orders right here at 5,600, I don't want to come off the candlestick chart right now, but we got a big stack of orders right down here. If we didn't, I would potentially be looking at this long. I got to see if we're going to leave this right here at 5,600 and the 55.90s on the book. I think we come and grab that if indeed it's going to stay on. Ooh, which it looks like it's starting to come off. There we go, coming right down. Okay, so that got moved up and filled. That got moved up and filled. Do we slice through to the 90s here, or do we find some buyers? Let's see. Let's see. Nope, still showing weakness. Sellers taking it right to this 5,600 level. Again, we got a few orders down at the 55.90s, down below this low. This looks like a continuation lower, man, and sell off a VWAP would have been the simple play. Yep. Yeah, not gonna get a great risk structure either way on this. Yeah, we got liquidity building right down below. This looks like we're gonna break and move. Down day. I'm looking long for some reason, and this thing is moving to the downside. Again, I'm trying to find my way in long here, looking for a recovery, but it's just not playing out whatsoever on the session structure that we're seeing so far. So I'm starting to abandon it. I don't know how we're gonna find a way in short on this as we start to break down. It's looking like some opportunities presented themselves pretty clearly here, right off of VWAP. Short on this candle, maybe stop loss right above for a continuation lower. Aggressively short as we start to find some sellers right here at VWAP would have paid. But here we come all the way down towards the 90s. Yeah, we got orders now at 90, 85. Yeah, this looks like we want to crack these lows and continue lower. And Q back down around session lows. YM continuing to sell off. Looking weak, man. But again, I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold. That's why I'm not taking it over here, and why I wasn't looking short initially on a move like this. But we'll hang out. We'll see what the market continues to print, and look for a trading opportunity. Again, appreciate you guys hopping on with me. Appreciate you being here while I'm trading live, hanging out, watching the market, seeing if we can't make a little money. pulling off these lows. Not really wanting to continue lower right here, right now. Let's see what happens, man. Is it just going to be continual break and retest? Structure of the downside? Oh, excuse me. Finding some buyers, at least for a pullback here. Not continuing lower just yet. Again, man, I think I'm gonna watch this one play out. If it just continues lower, I'm probably gonna have to wrap it up because the market is just not doing what I'm expecting it to do, and carrying a bias that way is not gonna be helpful. But I could see this thing pulling back over and over again. I'm looking at the way price action market structure is forming relative to where we are in, compared to prior day session. Looking at the, low time frame price action and market structure, I'm looking at this just not selling off really aggressively and not looking like it wants to continue lower. Now we have liquidity down at 990. Excuse me, 55.90. That's not great for a long, but I'm tempted on this, man. I really am. Which is probably not a great thing. I'm gonna watch to see what happens here. I don't know that I'm gonna get an opportunity if we do blast from here back up towards VWAP and through VWAP. We continue lower on this. It is just continuing to sell off on the day. Interested to see what happens as we come down below this low, if we come down below this low. But I'm tempted on a long, believe it or not, for the reasons that I just discussed. But so far still showing weakness, just breaking and retesting. This is a little bit of an interesting low that we're putting in down around this level that we're failing to get below. Could see another sweep down below and then a pullback up. But if we come through this, it looks like we may want to drop. We may want to drop towards overnight low, and head deep down into this area of consolidation, get below the low from overnight session. We do that, it looks like, look out below where we could be moving towards, could be moving all the way down towards prior day low, where the short play is just going to pay. So here we come all the way back down, trading out 95s, 96s. Let's see what happens. Quite a bit of orders on the book at 55.90. Wow, actually growing. We've got like 840. Interested to see if we find buyers there or if this thing is just going to waterfall as we start to break these levels. That is a heavy stack of orders on the book that I'm looking at 55.90. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at on Bookmap. This bad boy right here. It's been on the book the whole time. This is kind of what I've been eyeballing down at 55.90, although not trading towards it. We keep getting close, but we are failing to hit it. If we come into this, you can see it grew from like 300 to 848, and the algo is below that. It's going to overlap soon, and we're going to see like a larger number there, but that looks like, yeah, 840 some odd lots on the book down here. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Hanging out down around these lows, you know, making lower highs into this level. It's calling for a breakout to the downside. But again, I'm carrying a bias where we just don't see continuation today. I just think we make for either a choppy day or a pullback up. And that's obviously not helping me so far this morning as we've just continued to sell off. Kind of choppy down here around these lows, right? We didn't just continue this structure, you know, selling right through. We tested a couple times, pulled back up, but we continue to test this level. Sellers keep bringing it back down in. Again, huge stack of orders down here. I don't think it's super likely that we just leave this on the book, but it can certainly happen. If we come down here, what happens when we get here? Do these fill and we just rip through? Do we find these buyers and that's as far as we want to move? And you know, we actually will continue back up to the upside. So far, continuing to come back to this area that we're chopping out right around the 5,600. Price seems to love to be returning to that level, at least today. Really wanting to hang out here for now, and decision could be coming up soon, right? Either we're going to find buyers down here, you know, we say, okay, that's enough, crack below that by 6, 7 points, and you know, we're going to be pulling back up kind of like we are right now. Or we come back down through it and sellers say, see you later, we're off to the races to the downside. But I'm not going to look for a buy right here out of this level. Initially right here, as we found buyers on high volume here, this looked like a wick to the downside to take everybody out. Coming up to VWAP, pulling back down to this, you know, 605s area that I was watching, and then immediately finding buyers. I would have looked long on that, although orders all the way down here is concerning. Right now, holding position, just waiting for this chop to kind of decide what it wants to do. And go from there. But selling pressure down to this this major psychological level. Quite a bit of volume traded and now kind of chopping here. Yeah, on another day, I'd be aggressively long again. Just too big of a stack of orders here down at 55.90 to be comfortable getting long on this. I see buyers just not wanting to let this thing run lower. We wick down here really aggressively, take these orders, and then crack right back up. I may try it, but I think I'm gonna have to keep myself patient until then. Okay, we got these orders getting moved around now. 5,600. Yeah, I'll show you what I'm looking at on Bookmap. We got buyers down below moving their orders up, wanting to get filled. So Here was our flat out, right, our 55.90, the level I keep talking about on Bookmap. And again, whether or not this is respected today or not, you know, is out for debate. But what more than half of what was here was just moved right up to 55,600. Excuse me, 55,600, 5,600. And then this is just the algorithmic stuff that, you know, kind of tracks above and below price that I try not to pay too much attention to. So these are buy orders on the book, right? Resting buy orders that are in to be filled. They seem to be real when they get moved around like this. Let's see right now. We should see price come down into it, volume be traded. We can tell that it's traded out because it shows. You can actually use a data tooltip to show exactly what happened. You can typically see it just on the volume bubbles and the volume chart down below. But this is what I would be cautious trading against, right? You know, if we have orders right here, a lot of times price wants to come into that. And when it does, we see a lot of volatility, right? We see volume be traded, price can move quickly. There we go. That's it getting traded out right there. Still have some down here at 55.90, but that might be all that, no, not all that needs to get filled. Yeah, so gonna watch this on the candlestick chart, but that's what I'm looking at over to my right-hand side on Bookmap. Do we leave that 55.90? Testing this level again? Do we waterfall through when we get here, when we finally break out of this area consolidation to the downside? Or do we see a lot of volume be traded, a wick lower, and aggressive buyers step back in? But I'd be surprised if we didn't go trade it out now. Yep, continuing lower, at least so far. Sells on the day, sells off a VWAP, would have paid. There we go. Now. Now let's see what we get from here. But moving lower, looking at price action and structure, this is really continuing lower, down below VWAP, down below session VWAP from yesterday, anchored VWAP from yesterday. This is just weakness on the day. And like I said, if I'm not reading this as a move to the downside as I was expecting today. I was expecting potentially a move to the upside. Price action and market structure, although moving lower, the way it was forming was giving me a little indication that we might see that. I'm holding a long bias, which I really try not to do. Try to stay neutral, but I'm just not seeing it to the downside today. So I'm interested to see what we get here. You can see quite a bit of volume traded. That shows on Bookmap as well. Yeah, staying patient on this though. Staying patient. Staying patient on the second trade. We did have initial balance set right here. We broke initial balance to the downside. The side that was formed last broke first, which aligns with the stat. There's a really strong stat that we don't come all the way back up and break this side. Would be trading against that. We are extending to the downside, which typically happens. We typically don't just come and sweep the initial balance, but if we do see a gnarly reversal right off this, could give some indication, but so far we're just continuing lower. This is just structure to the downside, plain and simple. Let's see. Let's see what we get, boys and girls. But again, guys, like I say, appreciate you hanging out with me on here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming to hang. Hope to see you regularly. Smash the like button if you're still on with me. Subscribe. Check out the links in the description. Check out the links in the chat. Use code RDF at your favorite prop firms. Tradeify for 30 to 35% off straight to funded accounts. Take Profit Trader. All the good stuff. All the good stuff. Let's see. Yeah, chopping through lows, man. Just continuing low. Continuing down to the lows. 585, we got some orders on the book. This thing may just keep drifting lower today. I still am not letting go of just not seeing this the same as the last few days, right? Where here we're selling off to potentially break prior day low and just continue selling off into no man's land. Same thing up here and same thing over here. Here we had this nice crack back to the upside, pulling back above prior day's high. Although we have that higher time frame trend to the downside, I was looking at this as a potential move back up to the upside. Retesting some of these levels down here, and then some aggressive buyers stepping back in to bring this thing back up higher, but haven't found that. So again, not that I'm going to try to let that bias influence me, but along with that, just the way that price action and market structure has formed today on the low time frame didn't give me a ton of confidence. Objectively, VWAP not below prior day session VWAP is indicating what we saw from that overnight session, but a retest here after continuing lower potential, but just the way these are forming, really long wicks to the downside, immediate buyers stepping back in after cracking lows, that's an indication that just stops are getting popped and we want to crack back up to the upside. So that didn't really help me out today. It kept me out of shorts. But so far, just continuing to drift lower. Trading out these 85s. See, we get down around overnight low, but this is just weak. But I'm gonna hang out with you guys for a bit longer. Watch this thing. I'm really interested to see if we get buyers stepping back in, or if this is just going to be a gnarly down day. I don't have a massive level to trade off of here outside of overnight low, which is coming up. The lows of this session, this area that's been tested multiple times. I'm not going to take anything right off of these lows here. I think that's playing just too aggressively, trying to catch the knife, and letting this this bias not serve me well. Would really have to see some reversals start to set up. This would just be breaking and retesting down here. Would need to see some volume and some buyers step into the upside. I don't see it short. I don't know how I'm going to get it short, and I've had plenty of opportunity, and I'm just not looking at it to the downside. Although we've been selling off all day, and I've done well on shorts, very well on shorts. Just not seeing it today. Now again, we come and break this level, break overnight low. There is absolutely a case to be made to say, hey, this is the pullback up, and we are ready to just continue to sell off today. But we'll watch it together. We'll see if we don't get something that starts to set up. Nope. Continuing to push aggressively lower. Continuing to push aggressively lower. Trading out the 80s. Taking every bit of liquidity as we head lower. That's pretty much it on the book down below. But this thing is just it's just very weak. Getting ready to come and check out this overnight low level. Coming to hit it right now. Looking like we're going to break that. Weak, weak, weak. Yeah, I'm going to run this longer, guys. I'll be right back. Grab some water. Back in action with you guys. Testing overnight low. Looking like we want to break. W's. Excuse me. I was reading over to the side. Not W's. Weakness. 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 Yeah, YM looking extremely weak. Just taking a look at the additional indices, the other US indices on my second screen here. YM looking very weak. Very weak. Breaking yesterday's low now. And Q not looking nearly as weak as either of these. But through VWAP nonetheless, and forming a pretty gnarly 5 and 15 minute candle structure to the downside. And here on ES, not showing strength. Definitely not showing strength. See what we get here down around overnight low. Again, I don't know how I'm gonna find my way into this short. I just don't see it happening. So I'm gonna wait to see if we get some structure that starts to form that allows me to find a way into a trade. Again, this I'm taking every day, very early. You know, if you put the chart in replay mode, I'm cool with this as a buy back up to the upside. Definitely taking that one, and happy that I can get a little bit more aggressive on my entries near that 15-minute opening range, because I often do just let a little bit too much time pass and miss that first really clean opportunity. After this, still not looking short. Nothing on this crazy volatility to the downside. After this pullback to VWAP, on another day where we don't have the way this price action formed, I'm looking short on weakness off of VWAP to the downside. That would have paid here today, despite what we saw over here. Very, very nicely, right? Really, really simple trade. Short super aggressively off of VWAP. Short less aggressively on weakness off of VWAP. All of that would have paid very, very nicely to the downside. But just was not reading that as the move to the downside. Was looking at liquidity down here that was potentially going to get grabbed, and then a run back up. But none of that formed. None of that formed so far, which is cool. That's how trading goes, right? You have confidence in your system. You know what you're looking for. You know what plays out a little more often than not. You put your trades on. You let your probabilities, your edge play out in the long run. That's our job. That's our job. Not to get it right every day. Not to speculate and have a read of the market that anticipates everything every single day. None of that stuff's available. Just pattern recognition and utilizing whatever tools you utilize to trade to put trades on that have a maybe slightly higher chance of working out, or allow you to structure risk in a specific way that you can apply consistently day over day. That's it. So sitting right here at overnight low, really not wanting to get below after cracking it, albeit on low time frames, kind of just chopping around here. Nothing crazy at all on Bookmap until we come way back up here to this level. Way, way, way back up here to this level here. Outside of that, really nothing standing out on the book anymore. We filled a lot of those buyers on the way down here, and really just ate it up to the downside. Not too much else. No huge stacks down below price, at least for right now. Obviously, the order book is changing in real time, right? Everybody's allowed to put orders on and off as they go. But just watching to see what happens down here around overnight low. We continue the sell-off. I really just don't have a setup. I'm not looking to jump in on really low time frame structure to the downside. Obviously for worse today, because here we go, breaking overnight low, just continuing to move to the downside. Again, we come below this level. This is getting back into danger zone. Completely erase the move. We are making lows on the session repeatedly. If you look what this looks like on the daily, it's probably going to look pretty gnarly. That could be dangerous if we continue, right? This is turning into a long wick to the upside, and now into a bearish candle, aggressively pushing lower. This could be pretty dangerous, and if you look at what this looks like on the daily, could obviously turn into a really, really bloody day to the downside. If we start to break below prior day's low, which is at a pretty key level here, right? That's been tested multiple times before big impulsive moves. This could be interesting. This could be really interesting. This could get interesting, boys and girls. But here on low time frames, just not catching it. Not catching it. But I'm gonna hang out with you guys and see what we get. Gonna hang out a bit. I could absolutely see some form of reversal, or at least a pullback up to this area of high volume off of this level. I'm super tempted all day today to try to buy again. It would be very aggressive from this level, and it would not be in line with my approach I would really have to do it from a higher time frame and put a trade on that looks, you know, something more like this, you know, where I have a much wider stop loss, you know, lower risk, and I look to hold for, you know, a potential longer play back up to the upside. But this thing may just absolutely waterfall to the downside here. Let's see what this would actually look like. Sorry, when I zoom back in, change time frames on the on Project X here. Got to reset VWAP. That's where I was going with that thought. Yeah, that's really all I see for a current setup. Something with a nice wide stop. Let it chop around a little bit lower, come down, sweep lows again if we have to, and then potentially continue at least back up to prior lows broken in the downtrend, if not back up to this area of high volume. That's what I'm looking at. But we may just slice through this and head all the way down to yesterday's low. Got some buyers stepping in here. We got some volume picking up. Let's see. Is it just going to be a wick higher before a rip lower? Call me crazy, guys. I'm going to get long on this. I'm going to get long, and I'm going to run this, like I just stated, a little bit differently. I'm going to run this long after buyers being found around a key level, a sweep of a key level, back up towards the area of high volume. This is something I'm going to run with 2 micros and look to run a wider stop loss. I'm just zooming out to see really how wide I want to go with it, to say if we come all the way back down, I'm dead wrong on seeing some kind of reversal here. Again, counter to the session, counter to the overall trend, something that is a little bit more discretionary based on what I'm watching today and what I'm anticipating. I'm looking for some type of a pullback, at least up towards prior lows broken in the downtrend. If not somewhat more of a reversal. But this could play pretty poorly for me. It's something that I'm probably just going to let run here and really see if we can't get some reversal back up towards prior day session VWAP and current session VWAP. But if this downtrend continues, you know, I'm going to be out for an L number 2. But this is going to be my second trade, and I'm going to get ready to wrap it up here with you guys. Obviously, you'll know if this plays out. If we just rip lower, you'll know what the move is. Yeah, I'm gonna go like way down here with it, Yeah, like the 61s. So I am long 55.82.5. Stop at 55.61 and a half. Looking at potential buyers being found after sweeping overnight low, breaking to the downside. Looking at a potential reversal back up towards prior lows broken in the session. This area of high volume VWAP, if not a bigger reversal. Higher time frame trend, right? Putting on 21.25 points of risk, allowing this thing to come down, sweep these lows, chop around here a little bit, do whatever it needs to do before potentially finding some buyers here. No liquidity down below. That's really scaring me out of this one. But again, I'm carrying a long bias, and it could absolutely hurt me today. Didn't help me on the first one, but I'm going to put my trades on as I see fit, fearlessly with you guys. That's all I can do. So on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, I'm not going to hang and let this one play about an hour and a half into the stream. I got to get rolling. Got meetings coming up. Appreciate you guys being here. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm just an idiot yapping on YouTube. I appreciate you being here. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links in my content. See you guys here tomorrow. Thanks for being. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks for being here. And yeah, see what we can do the rest of the week. I will update you guys in Discord on trade management for this one. Talk to you guys soon.